Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
It's a problem-free philosophy.
Hakuna Matata. Why, when he was a young warthog.
When I was a young warthog.
Very nice.
Thanks.
He found his aroma like a certain appeal. He could clear the savannah after every meal.
I'm a sensitive soul, though I seem thick-skinned. And it hurt that my friends never stood downwind. And oh, the shame!
He was ashamed.
What a change in my name!
Oh, what's in a name?
And I got downhearted.
How did you feel?
Every time that
Hey, Pumba, not in front of the kids.
Oh, sorry.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
Yes, sing it, kid. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata.
What's Mickey with Minnie? What's Piglet with Pooh? What's Donald with Daisy? That's me when I'm with you. When Ariel always sings and Pooh Bear eats his honey. When Tigger keeps bouncing and Goofy is really funny. When Peter Pan can fly and Simba always roars. When Alice is in Wonderland and crawls through all the doors. Although you're off to infinity and beyond, we will remember your love and our special bond. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Jake's family, I'd like to warmly welcome you to the Celebration of Life service for Jake James Donnelly, or Grumpy, as he often called himself. Anyone who met Jake was given a character's name. To family and friends who are joining us on Jake's live stream, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all. Even though you are not physically here, we feel your presence in this chapel as if you were. Today we gather to remember a guy who was so full of life, who loved to keep everyone on his toes, and who lived his life with such determination and gumption that he inspired others to do the same. While today's service is one of remembering and celebrating Jake's life, it is also about saying goodbye for the final time, and so there is strong grief attached. Tears are not to be apologised for they are an expression of the love that you all shared for Jake. Jake's life brought laughter, determination, and most importantly, love. So let us honour all these superhuman qualities that Jake embodied. Choose love despite your grief. My name is India May and I work as a funeral celebrant together with Michael and the team at Lapine Funerals. It is our honour and privilege to be with you this afternoon. Before we continue, just a few housekeeping announcements. Firstly, if you could please make sure your mobile phones are switched off as we're being live streamed, that would be greatly appreciated. On behalf of Jake's family, I would also like to warmly welcome you to refreshments, which will be served immediately following Jake's service, and they will just be through those doors there. We will guide you there after the service. I had the honour on Monday afternoon of sitting down with Bill, Willie and Ivy Donnelly. And as we sat and chatted, I discovered how deeply loved Jake was to his family. He was a much-loved son, grandson, brother and friend to many. A guy who, despite every hurdle life threw his way, still continued to find joy and happiness in the most challenging of circumstances. He kept everyone on their toes with his attitude, his cheeky sense of humour, and his incredibly accurate impersonations. Jake taught others to be brave, to never shy away from the face of adversity, but to embrace it as part of your story. Jake's story is full of so many powerful moments of love. Not only was he unconditionally loved by his family, but he also gave his family unconditional love. From Jake's granny Ivy, I learnt that Jake was extremely affectionate. He would say he loved her 1,000 times over. Mixed in with his affectionate heart was also his cheeky nature. When I asked his family whether Jake had a sense of humour, Bill, Willie and Ivy all laughed. Jake had a very unique sense of humour. He would be talking to you normally 1 minute, and the next he would be in character and say to you, "Who am I?" And you would have to quickly guess who he was. Jake was always grumpy from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Bill was Doc, Andrew was Dopey, Willie was Happy, and Ivy was Sneezy. I didn't get the honour of meeting Jake, so I had to ask his family what he would have called me. Ivy and Willie responded saying, "You would have been Snow White or Princess Jasmine." I would happily take either of those characters. Jake loved his music. His musical interests were vast, from the Wiggles to the Blues Brothers, to Elvis Presley and the Beatles, to Disney and Grease and everything in between. There wasn't a genre that Jake didn't like listening to. Jake, I also discovered, was enthralled in movies, TV shows, cartoons and YouTube. His knowledge of films, TV shows, music and YouTube were astounding. He possessed a photographic memory and could recall any character and recite their lines. As Jake was spending hours on YouTube, Bill decided to pay for YouTube Premium, which meant Jake didn't have to sit through all the ads before watching what he really wanted. When Bill would visit Jake in the hospital, he would often come into his room saying, "Are you watching YouTube?" To which Jake would reply, "No, it's premium." For $15 a month, it was worth hearing Jake make this comment. In many ways, not only did the movies, TV shows and YouTube provide countless hours of entertainment, they also allowed Jake to live many lifetimes and take plenty of adventures through the eyes of each character. Jake always had to be the baddie. If the movie was Aladdin, he'd be Jafar. If it was Star Wars, then Jake had to be Darth Vader. During Jake's stay on Ward 7.1 in Box Hill Hospital, he would often sit up well into the early hours of the morning watching movies. When it was quiet and on the ward, the doctors and nurses would often pull up a chair next to Jake's bed and watch along with him. Jake was deeply loved on Ward 7.1, not just by the nurses and doctors, but all who came into contact with him. Jake celebrated his 30th birthday this year on the 28th of October. The amazing staff on 7.1 decorated Jake's room so beautifully to celebrate his milestone birthday and even sung him happy birthday. Bill, Willie and Ivy were overwhelmed with the incredible amount of effort displayed when they saw Jake's room, which was filled with cut-out characters from all Jake's favourite movies and TV shows, birthday streamers and balloons. The Mr. Bean cutout that you can see on the lectern here was the same one on Jake's hospital door. Mr. Bean was always Jake's favourite, you can see up the front as well. Jake's hospital family will miss him dearly and remember the special times that they got to share with him. There is so much more that I could say about what I learnt during my time with Jake's family. However, I will now say this time for his incredible family to come forward and say a few words. Their lives have been infected by his beautiful love and his profound sense of joy. And today we are fortunate enough to hear some of their stories. So firstly, I would like to invite Bill to bravely come forward and share some of his special memories of his son. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, India. That was fantastic. I think you summed Jake up beautifully. And thanks, everyone, for coming. Pretty tough, but he did all the things he did so we can do this. Jake, where do you start? Or, I guess more aptly, who do you start with? Is it Mr. Bean or Jafar or Darth Vader or Thomas and his million engines that he would recite one after the other every single time? Or Trapper John McIntyre from MASH because he had curly hair? Apparently Jake had curly hair, but not for the last 10 years, but he still thought he had curly hair. Scar from The Lion King. And for some weird reason, he loved Grease, but he always wanted to be Kaniki. He didn't want to be any of the main characters. It was Kaniki, the leader of the Thunderbirds. So, yeah. Grumpy was his look. Hercules, and especially in the hospital when he would get around, the nurses would all call him Hercules when he was pushing his chair around. Or Kurt Kramer, again, from Seinfeld. So that's a broad spectrum of TV shows and movies. And his favourite, of course, one of them was the Blues Brothers, the music. It could be any one of those, any second or any minute. There was a perfect summary written by one of the nurses when he went to William Angliss, and she'd only known him a day or two, and she wrote a full A4 page which put up in his room to describe to the other support staff Jake's quirks and his support needs. And I won't read it all, I'll just read the first line. It says, "Hi, I'm Jake. I might look like an adult, but really I'm a big kid. So please don't expect me to understand things like an adult." And that was him. But he could understand a lot of things like an adult, and then a lot of other things he understood in his own way, which was always kept you on your toes. As we've touched on, his interests would change by the minute and cover everything. It's from the Wiggles to Star Wars and then Mr. Bean to Minnie Mouse. Thanks, Minnie. And he also had, this is one of my favourite stories, he also had an innovative way, I'll say, of dealing with unwanted circumstances. So the years and years of all the hospital procedures and blood tests and surgeries, and of course he didn't like it, and I'd just say, just get on with it, and we'd get on with it, and he would eventually get around to it. He would either adopt a character, always one of the evil ones when he's talking to the staff, or I'd distract him and chat about his movies and his shows or whatever. On the rare occasions that he took a particular dislike to some of the staff, which he would do occasionally, we couldn't work out why, the expletives would fly, and while they were flying, they'd get the hand signal as well and the evil look. I said, "Hey, Jake, you can't do that." So after one particular day, and he'd done this to a number of doctors and nurses, and I'd told him, "You can't do that, Jake, it's rude, and they're just trying to help you. It's okay, don't be doing that." And he would always apologise afterward. When he calmed down, it was finished, he'd always say, "I'm sorry." So I told him, "No, you can't do that." Anyway, the next time, I don't know when it was, he wasn't happy, and he quietly looked at the nurse, gave her one of his looks. He didn't say a word, and slowly raised a finger. And even though nothing was said, and even though it was the wrong finger, there was no doubt to anyone in the room exactly what Jake meant. He'd done what I asked him. He wasn't rude, he didn't swear, he didn't use that finger, but he worked out another way on his own to express himself, and it came across, so there was no problem there. This was rare though, because he always made the most of every situation, and everyone that met him, they knew he didn't mean it, and he would be friends with him, and then they would start to talk to him, and he would turn them around quite quickly. He rarely asked for anything other than his favourite DVDs, his YouTube videos, of course premium, as we've already mentioned. Oh yes, he loved his premium. Hated the ads, loved premium. Or to listen and sing along to his CDs. Every AFL footy club song, you knew when that CD went in, we were getting them all in order. Billy Joel, Queen, Grease, even Slim Dusty. So he was just bounce all over the place. Jake was mostly happy, except when he was grumpy. But then he was happy grumpy. There are reminders of Jake every day. They always bring a smile to our face. Goodbye, Jake. Love, your dad, Elwood.
I'm glad we gave Bill a round of applause because it takes a lot of courage to come and speak about someone you love. And Bill, I know that was important that you did that for your son. Well done.
The amount that he went through, I thought, there's nothing for us to do.
Yeah, well done. All right. I would now like to invite Andrew, Jake's brother, to come and say some words about his brother. Thank you, Andrew.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, and I'd just like to say that what I went through with my brother was a lot of good times, and yeah, but just some things I picked up from him was he had 2-second phone calls. He wasn't very talkative on the phone, so his phone call would be hello, goodbye. He would recite every movie line word for word, and it's just the way he would do it was uncanny. And I mean, I could do it myself, but like in the set, like his sense of humour was good as well, and everything else. Just thank you. Thanks, Jake, for all your memories. I'm gonna miss you.
There's no special bond, no more special bond than two brothers, and I'm sure you and Jake got up to plenty of adventures growing up. It's now my great pleasure to read a very heartfelt tribute by Grandad Willie. These are his words. Ivy and I have so many great memories of Jake. It is hard to know where to start. Jake attended Knoxbrook Day Centre, and he loved all the activities. He began travelling by bus, but later I would take him in the car. I remember each morning listening to the radio. Jake would announce, "This is 3AW, 9 o'clock news. I'm David Armstrong, good morning." Then in the afternoon it would be, "This is 3AW, 3 o'clock news. I'm Tony Tardio." Then he would give me an update of all the characters he was during the day. One day we went to the Wallace and Gromit exhibition in Federation Square. Jake gave us a guided tour. He explained to us how things were made step by step. Firstly, storyboard, then production team, etc. Then he finished with lights, camera, action. When he was in Box Hill Hospital, his routine when we were leaving was always the same. "I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Quasimodo and Esmeralda in the cathedral. I am Lord Judge Frollo." We are very sad he has left us, but happy knowing that he is at peace. Love, Grandad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Beautiful words. Thank you. I now would like to invite Jake's granny, Ivy, to come forward and read to us a lovely poem which he has lovingly written in memory of Jake. The words you will actually find printed inside your order of service. Thank you.
Our Jake, dearly loved son, brother and grandson, and friend to all who knew him most of the time. Jake's knowledge was amazing. He left us all in awe. His mind was like a sponge as it soaked up all he saw. One minute he was Mickey, the next he was Jafar. Then came Willy Wonka, before becoming Scar. From Star Wars to the Wiggles and all that was between. But I think his favourite character was always Mr. Bean. Every day on numerous times, Jake would always say, I love my dad, I love my brother, and I love you, Granny and Granda, and we love you too, Jake, to infinity and beyond.
Ivy, that was beautiful. And when you handed the poem to me on Monday to have a read, I was blown away, not only by your creative flair, but also just the heartfelt words that you put in there. So well done. There are so many people who cared for Jake during his time at both the Anglis Hospital and also Box Hill Hospital. From the nurses who would sing and dance along to Jake's music, to the staff who would watch movies with him, to the cleaning staff who tidied Jake's room so thoroughly. Each played an important role in Jake's life during the last 12 months. After Jake's passing, one particular nurse, Kristen, reached out and sent Jake's family this very meaningful tribute, which I now have the pleasure of reading out. I am so very sorry for your loss. I am overwhelmed and full of admiration for the love and care that you all gave to Jake. I know I speak for everyone when I say how blessed we were to have spent a chapter of Jake's life with him, even if it was in a hospital setting. 7.1 is not going to be the same without Jake, and of course all your beautiful friendly faces. Room 11 will forevermore be known as Jake's room, and I will tell the tales of Jake and all his antics. Every time I hear Billy Joel or see an episode of Star Wars, Toy Story, The Wiggles, Everybody Loves Raymond, and many, many other shows, I will think of Jake. I'm going to miss hearing him recite episodes of his favourite TV shows, word for word, his cuddles, and even his swearing. Jake was a huge personality, and I was blessed to know him. My deepest condolences to you all. May he rest in peace, and cuddles from all his favourite characters. Much love, Kristen. What a beautiful tribute. Let's give her a round of applause. We're now going to spend some time in reflection as we watch a beautiful photo tribute of some of Jake's most treasured moments spent with his family and friends. You have permission to laugh, to cry, or to simply sit and soak in everything that is truly Jake. Mixed in with Jake's photos are also some videos of Jake. This is to ensure that he gets the last word in.
There's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wave can't be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and reason to the wild outdoors. When the heart of the star-crossed Voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's led to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
Go. What are you saying? Hello?
Okay, Andrew,
Right, what are you going to sing for them?
you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Sing the rest.
Alright,
That's
All right.
We'll see you.
see ya.
Just hang in
I'll see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Someone reading slowly so you're not asked to get your real story. She'll be mine.
Very good.
The sun, you're the saddest bunch I am in that before us, sir. Mr. I'll make a man out of you. Coming out of forest, bonfire within. Once you find your center, you're sure to win. Yes, that is tail and honey what, and you haven't got to. Somehow I make a man of you.
Very good.
Who are you?
Jake,
Jake who?
Lee.
Where are we going?
He's your cat now. He's my cat now.
Who?
Joe Maurici.
Oh.
And he plays who?
Who?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Blues Brothers.
Putting the band back together.
And they have Matthew time.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stephen Hunter.
Yeah?
John.
Yep.
Lee Hall.
Yeah?
And Tom Jones Malone.
That's it. Tom Bones Malone. There you go. Now go straight. Hey!
And Mark. And Mark.
Murph.
I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to watch the photos before today's service, my office at home, and I was moved to tears watching the staff at the hospital, the way they cared for Jake and the way they decorated his room so beautifully. And it was nice for his family to know that he was loved at the hospital as well as home, and also by all of you. Before we say our final goodbye to Jake and send him off on his next heroic adventure, his family would like to thank you all for coming today and for the love and support and strength that you have given this family in their time of need. A big thank you to all the staff at Angus Hospital, where Jake spent 5 weeks in the ICU, and also the wonderful and kind staff at Box Hill Hospital, and in particular Ward 7.1. There are too many names to mention, as every single person who came in contact with Jake and his family went above and beyond in their jobs. Jake's family will forever appreciate your care, compassion and assistance. And finally, thank you to Michael and the team at Lapine Funerals for their guidance during such a difficult time and organising today's service. Jake, your life brought so much love to everyone here and to so many more. In your precious years of life, you taught those you did life with what unconditional love really meant. You loved without hesitation, enjoyed being cheeky, and continually radiated happiness with your passion for movies, TV shows, music and YouTube and all the characters. So today we choose love in memory of you, Jake. When I asked Bill, Willie and Ivy during our time together on Monday what they would miss most about Jake, they simply yet so profoundly said him. You see, when you lose someone as close to your heart as Jake was, you cannot just pinpoint one thing that you will miss. You won't just miss his determination, his resilience, or the cheeky look and the finger point he would give you if he didn't approve of something you were doing. You won't just miss his quality and how you felt more loved and more treasured having just been in his presence. It's everything that you will miss, everything that was uniquely Jake. So today, Jake, your family and friends honour you, they treasure you, and they hold on to their time spent in your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you all to be upstanding for Jake's committal? Jake James Donnelly, you have battled dragons and pirates and evil queens. You have wished on stars and flown to Neverland. You have dreamt impossible dreams and seen magic. You have watched elephants fly and never been afraid to reach for the sky. And most importantly, you know love and goodness will always win. Today we do not say goodbye to you, but see you soon. And we send you off to infinity and beyond. To close Jake's celebration of life service, I would like to finish with this quote from A.A. Milne. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know.
Party in the county jail. Prison man was down there, began to wail. The drum was jumping and the blood began to swing. Should have heard us not out there, but sing, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole set line. Let's dance at the jailhouse rock. Started moving bloody to the saxophone. Little Joey blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer ball from Illinois, crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was a purple gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the old cell block. There was dancing to the jailhouse rock. They on number 47 said it on 3. You're the cutest jail that I ever did see. I sure be the lighter with the trampoline. Come on and do the jailhouse rock with me. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the old cell block. They're dancing to the jailhouse rock. Let's rock. Sad sack sitting on a block of stone. Way over in the corner weeping all alone.